Hello again, everyone. Today is a great day on the Brox and Max channel. The sun is shining. People are out doing yard work, mowing their lawns, doing all sorts of things after a week of just straight rain. It's been just great all this week. So while we try to take advantage of beautiful days like this, I'm out back working on this piece of shit. Yeah, that's right. This is a piece of shit. You've seen it before. It's in some of my videos. Mack CL with an E9 in it. It's actually kind of a fun truck to drive until you let it sit for about a month, which shouldn't be a big deal, and the clutch froze. It's happened twice. The first time I was able to break it loose by just running it around the yard, so I really wasn't concerned. I just thought it was pure coincidence. Well, now it's froze again. So there's either a clutch issue or some type of clutch sticking issue of maybe some moisture trap. Don't know. But I guess you're just going to have to stay tuned with me and figure out what to do. So for those of you that are new to this channel, here is this kind of beat up. I mean, it's got nice paint, but it's got a little bit of cosmetic issues. Got a little bit of rust here, no big deal. But so what I'm doing currently is I have this old stick here holding the clutch pedal down. I backed the pressure plate all the way off, unscrewed that adjustment screw right down that I can't even unscrew it anymore. I can feel the pressure plate, that's loose. I can feel the first disc, that's loose. But the center plate and the disc that's touching the flywheel, I can't quite get to. And I don't want to pull the transmission quite yet. I'm thinking maybe I can do some creative engineering here to see if I can possibly get this broke free. So I got my handy lady slipper that I have a video of, that I found it in my sand pile over the winter. And here's what it looks like all painted up and sandblasted nice. I'm going to see if I can stick it in the inspection window underneath the transmission, trying to do some light prying. I'm going to go on this creeper here, go under here, and see what happens. Well, for those of you that have never had to be in the bowels of a truck and see what's underneath, whether you never adjusted a clutch before or don't know what to look for in a situation like this, here is the inspection window, and here's how you adjust the clutch and grease the throwout bearing every once in a while. So way deep in the bowels here is this clutch. Now you can see, actually I can see quite a bit with the camera. You can see those teeth on the bottom. That's the actual flywheel of the truck, or of the engine. And then you have this plate here, that's the pressure plate. There's three pieces in between the pressure plate and the flywheel that need to be free. And I don't know if you can quite tell, you can see right in the center there, there's a center plate, and I can just about reach my hand in there to touch it, and it will not move. So that's my plan of attack. Maybe I can put a little bar in there trying to get it pried loose gingerly, because I don't want to damage anything. And for those of you that may say, how did you get it unstuck to begin with? Well, I was romping on the truck and really beating the crap out of it, and I really don't want to do that anymore, even though I tried the second time. But obviously there's something else wrong. Now when I did take this plate off, a bunch, about maybe a coffee cup of water came out, so that did not help the situation at all. When the clutch is spinning around and all it's doing is slinging that water all over the place, just starting this process all over again. So had I known all this to begin with, I probably wouldn't be in this situation. But it's a used truck. You have no clue what its previous life was like maintenance wise or anything. So I guess it's just the nature of the beast. And unfortunately, I have some bad luck today. So I'm trying to make it free up so I can at least drive this truck around and not just sit there looking at it parked. So I'm going to try with a pry bar and hope for the best. Now, like I said before, I could stick my hand right in there and I can feel the first clutch disc. And I don't know if you can hear that little clapping sound. That to me is a good sign because that means it's loose. I can also feel the center plate and there's no movement. Now mind you, the clutch is pushed in with the pressure plate adjustment all the way loose. So I have quite a bit of movement there to be able to do something. I'm not dealing with thousands and not being able to be anywhere near successful with this. So what I'm going to try to do before I create a tool, I'm going to try to fit this lady slipper in there, and that is not going to work. I'm going to have to make an offset one, which I'm not going to cannibalize this one yet. I did find in my toolbox, I found this little handy, obviously I think it's for probably adjusting wedge brakes if I was to guess. Well, hopefully it'll sneak right in there. And of course I'm going by feel. Have no clue what it looks like in there. And see if I can get that hooked. Maybe pry on it a little bit just to break it loose. That's all I need to do. It's like literally stuck. But I don't know how stuck it is because it hasn't sat very long for this to happen. It might be just like freezing brake drums to brake shoes when the trucks sit for a minute or two. After washing the truck, sometimes you let the clutch out and you can feel the brakes snap. Well, this is kind of the same thing, other than this is being a little bit of a bugger. I don't know if anybody noticed, I am using gloves. Why am I using gloves? Well, I don't want to get my hands dirty. And it's not because I'm afraid of getting my hands dirty. I'm just tired of reaching my hand in here barehanded and pulling out grease and clutch dust and all sorts of stuff. That mixture is not fun to get off your hands. So I'm hoping, with a little bit of luck here, I can get something jarred free. And of course, this is a Mack 12-speed. And with any Mack transmission, you only have the window size, a certain size. And the bell is shaped accordingly. That I think I would have had better luck with a Road Ranger, because the Road Ranger has more of a funnel-looking bell as opposed to completely square. So I literally have to go up and over to try to feel for anything in here. Feel free to comment if anybody's had this issue before, and what did they do to break their job apart. And I know at the end of the day here, if I cannot get this broke free, I'm going to have to pull the transmission and figure out what's going on. But I'm hoping with maybe an hour worth of time that I'll never get back, I'll be able to get that knocked loose, hopefully. So I'm giving up on that. This one just is not long enough. I don't have enough lip on this to be able to give a good pry. So I also have this tool. This is more for like carpentry, prying up nails on a roof or whatever. Stick this in there and I can just about get it with this one. But again, I don't want to cannibalize this tool either, because I have to shave off a little bit to get it right on the money. See, it's just about catching. It's just about catching back there. But I gotta shave off maybe 1/8 of an inch. Maybe I'll just do that. Get it over with. Hold that thought. So I ground it down a little bit here. Not a lot to jeopardize the tool, but maybe enough to be a little bit dangerous. See if it fits a little bit better. Ooh, actually fits in there good. Here we go. There's no way did I get that lucky. Oh, there we go. Huh. Something moved. Now sticking my hand in there, now I definitely move that center plate, because I can stick my fingers in between the paddles, and I'll take a picture and put it on this video of what the actual clutch looks like. You have the clutch discs, which amount to maybe 4 paddles to 6 paddles, and you have the center plate, and I can feel some wear on the center plate itself, but nothing like there's something wrong. And I didn't pull any parts or pieces out of this when I first started messing with it. So the center plate loosened up, but I can still feel the clutch paddle in the very front. That is stuck. That is stuck tight right to the flywheel. So I got 50% of it broke free, which is a lot better than what it was 5 minutes ago. Pretty happy about that. I just can't believe it came apart that easy. Figured I was going to have a heck of a time. Alright, so here's the tricky part. That was easy, to be able to sneak in behind that center plate and give it just a little burp. Well, now here's the flywheel, and here's a really thin clutch plate, and this does not have enough grab for me to get in between there to give it a little. So I may have to end up making another tool. Maybe this one might possibly save the day. And of course, whether you're right or left-handed, you're only going to be able to get one hand in there to really do anything, which is difficult. I'm going to take a look in here while everything's apart. So it probably still looks the same. I'm actually using this camera right now to see if I can get a bearing on how can I possibly get in there to break that loose, because I am 50% there. I'm actually excited about what I've been able to accomplish so far, but it's just not quite enough yet. So I'm going to give up on this session right now. I'm going to start the truck and see if just the initial jarring of the thing running maybe could loosen it up enough to get it to function like it's supposed to. Hang on for that. Well, if anybody's noticed that I have different sunglasses on, so far that's the only thing that's gotten ruined on this video. I ran over my sunglasses getting out from underneath the truck with the creeper. Creeper ran right over them. So I'm gonna take this block out. Start this thing up, see what happens. And it's air throttle. Waiting for air to build up. Obviously the clutch is still stuck. I put it in reverse, and the reverse gear is so slow that it'll click right in there, but I don't have any clutch to push in to release the tension, so I kind of did a reverse burnout there on the concrete. So what I'm going to try to do while the clutch is applied is go through a few gears, get some momentum, drop on the brakes with the clutch pushed in, with the pressure plate backed all the way off, and see if anything happens. Man, still stuck. Yeah, finally. Other than now, the pressure plate is backed all the way off, so I have no clutch. But I did finally break it loose. Sweet. can't even get it into gear because the transmission isn't even turning. I can't even feel for the gears because there's no clutch. The clutch is back so far off that that's why I just by chance was able to find second, and look, it just stays there. So I'm going to shut the truck off, readjust the clutch again, and I should be good to go. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to lubricate the crap out of it underneath there, even though you shouldn't. But in this particular case, I do not want this to happen again. So I'm just going to let it spin around in there, put some penetrating oil through it, get it all over the place, make it slurry all around instead of water, and hopefully I can actually have a video of this driving up the road. Sweet. Here's the other slight issue of being by myself. I might get lucky. Clearly not. For the adjustment bolt to be at the 6 o'clock mark. But I can tell that it's not. Gotta go in there with a flashlight. Actually, go in there with my cell phone. Flashlight's on the other side. Well, it's not terrible. It's at 3 o'clock, so I got to spin the motor over 90 degrees. The only problem is I'm by myself. So I can't have somebody just bar the motor over, so I'm going to see if I can get lucky and just grab it on the back of the pressure plate, see if it'll spin on me. So here's what that looks like inside the window of the bottom of the transmission. Now this screw, this center one here, is how you adjust it, and even it has it in the casting itself on the pressure plate. It says adjust for wear. So this is a pretty simple way to adjust a clutch. It's actually the most easiest way to do it. And like I said, this was actually turned up until about 3 o'clock, and you can see all these little notches here that you're able to grab with a bar to be able to bar everything over. I could have gotten out of the truck and cranked the motor over a little bit, just bumping it to try to make it turn, or went to the front of the motor, but I figured I'd take a chance on this being that it was at 3 o'clock. If it was at 12 o'clock, I probably would have done something different. But anyway, I got it down to where I can adjust it, and I'm going to put a socket with a socket wrench, and you can see there's a spring on this shoulder bolt. You got to push that in to be able to turn the gear in there to adjust the clutch, because it's not just, yeah, turn it and go. It has to lock so it doesn't knock itself out of adjustment when you're running the truck down the road. So I'm going to adjust that. And this is just a feel. I got to get up, out, in and out a couple times to see if the adjustment's right on the money. I got to release the clutch pedal and all that. So for those of you that have never seen this process work, there you go, now you know. So stay tuned for this. Now I always sneak a bar in here to push that adjustment bolt down to keep it down, because that spring is constantly fighting you all the time. And I'm going to have to turn this quite a ways because I unscrewed it quite a ways. Now you can see by this free play here that I actually over adjusted it. And when I look in there, the spacing between the clutch brake and the throwout bearing is over a ½ inch of play. So I gotta back it back off, put some clutch back in it. So you can see there's a massive amount of free play. You only should have about 1 inch. I got a solid 5. So you just rig this back up. When you're doing this by yourself, it's not that big a deal. When you have somebody helping you, being in here to push the clutch down, and as you're adjusting it, they can tell you how much free play you got. So it's a lot easier with 2 people, but it still can be done with 1. Ah, that's more better. I like that. So what I'm going to do now is take that flashlight out of the bell housing there, so I don't make a bunch of mini flashlights when I start the truck up. And probably once I get it started, I'm going to lubricate it, put some spray on penetrant in there just to make it slosh around in there. It was better than the water that was in there. I'm trying to make it not freeze up again, because this has been pretty painful to do, and I really don't want to do it again. Really not concerned about penetrating oil all over the clutch, because this truck eventually is going to come back apart because the frame's junk. Actually, stay tuned for the next episode. I may have a fix for it. I'm going to see if I can get this to yard drive at least and go in gear like it's supposed to, and that'll satisfy me for this episode. Back when I would be able to ram it in gear, the rear wheels would even spin with the parking brake on, or at least one wheel was stuck out of adjustment. So now I can get it in gear like I'm supposed to. That makes me happy.